Welcome back to the 2023 Music City Open presented by Lone Star Disc. This is Gatekeeper Media's coverage of the MPO Chase Card Round 3 Front 9. And I'm Andrew Fish, joined here by Nathan Queen.
Yes, in the third and final round at the new layout here at Mill Ridge Park. Beautiful property, and we're finally going to have some beautiful weather today, close to the 70s, and a slight breeze as you would expect throughout these rolling hills, but nothing too crazy. Should be set up for a good round.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see three players here tied at 12 down and Ricky Wysocki at 11 down. We've had a couple chase card winners already this year, and Chris Dickerson with a 4-stroke lead over everyone on our card. What are you looking for, Nathan?
We have a ripper of a card today.
Yeah.
Lots of players that have that opportunity. Speaking of, Calvin Heimburg been on the podium or close to it pretty much every event so far this year. Putting with the KC Pro AVR, we're going to see Eagles and Destroyers out here in the Open.
Simon Lizotte now with MVP. We saw him the first round at Open at Austin. He will be putting with the Anode. He's got his Hex that he's going to throw, and then a variety of distance drivers for all of the shapes.
And Austin Turner, we saw him yesterday. Lefty with a lot of power, putting with those steady BL stones. Really leans on the Raptor and the Nuke and Hypercane for those long distance shots.
And Ricky Wysocki, welcome back. First full event on the tour. He will be putting with the Dagger. You see a couple of trusts in his bag as mid-rangers, and then Enforcers for distance shots. And I know he's going to throw Felon for both forehands and backhands.
And brings us straight into hole 1, 668-foot par 4. Slight wind change today from the solid left to right that we've had the first two rounds. It's more of a tailwind. So we could see some more distance off of the tee today, making for some higher second shots, maybe over top of that tree line we saw on the right.
Calvin, maybe the hottest player on tour right now. He got the win at Vegas, he got the win at Texas States, and has been in contention at every other event. Lining up the big hyzer over the right side.
And with that tailwind, you see that push forward a little bit more than previous days when they were just packing straight down.
Auf dem Anschlag from Germany, Simon Lizotte!
Simon, I believe, had a couple of 6 downs. He spent round 2 on the Jomez lead card. We're glad that he's joining us on the Gatekeeper Chase card today. This is the alternate outside route. You see the big kind of spiky anhyzer angle. Idea is to let the wind get under it and push, 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 maybe come out at the end.
And here it is coming out at the end. Still way up high on the hill, going to be looking to go over top those trees.
Tent Hill, North Carolina, Austin Turner!
Nathan, I know you want to see some big lefty bombs out of Austin.
Yeah, he's going to have the intended fairway line, but Simon's line with the lefty backhand. So that big turnover shot doesn't look like he quite got enough left turn on this. Going to be up high on the hill, but that is not OB. That is a spectator rope, so still in position for a birdie.
Yeah, potentially.
On the tee from Scottsdale, Arizona, Ricky Wysocki!
You see that Ricky's been pretty busy. I don't know if he's working on his game, but he has been working on his beard.
Yeah, shaped it up nicely.
Kind of dealing with some wrist soreness, potentially a complication of ongoing Lyme disease. So he's kind of just managing event to event right now.
And made that first shot look pretty easy. Austin with the big spike hyzer. Looks like he does make it over. Going to be in circle 2. Might have that kind of backside gap to get through.
Yeah, would be a downhill headwind putt, but early scoring opportunity. Kind of the opposite problem for Heimburg. He turns it over a little bit much on the forehand and likely obstructed from his circle 2 look.
Yeah, this is a difficult hole to have to put a flex on if you're far enough back and you really need to flex it to get some distance. It's hard to move far enough back to the right.
Lizotte, the road less traveled. Big spike over a huge grove of trees and into circle 1.
How do you learn how to pinpoint like that?
There are no reference points for the basket when you're throwing over that stuff. Like, I don't know what he's doing to envision the landing spot.
It's wild. And Austin does have a wide open look here. Yeah, tough to commit to that on the first hole of the day. Quite a bit downhill and can get away from you.
And Simon redeeming the card. Everybody else should have a pretty routine par cleanup. Calvin the most complicated from not more than 18 or so.
Hole 1 remaining pretty difficult as far as the course goes. The 4th most difficult on the day, just barely under par at a 3.96.
And Nathan, we've seen the front 7 in particular play above par collectively. Definitely better scoring conditions today, but wow, as Turner just squeaks it in a couple different ways. Anybody who's contending for a win is going to need to get, probably a few of these first 7, right?
Absolutely. It was a wildly different scoring spread today, with just 3 holes averaging over par compared to 9 the first day and 7 the second day.
Yeah. Hole 2, big wide open shot bounded by OB on both sides, but a pretty specific landing zone leading into a tunnel. A little bit of a downhill run into the muddy green, but again, surrounded by out of bounds on all sides. Generally a left to right touch of headwind off the tee. This is a pretty conservative shot by Simon, and as it runs towards that left out of bounds line, that will cut off his angle considerably.
Yeah, could have done without that skip for sure. Calvin gets over on this one pretty well, pushing that OB line, which is exactly what you want to do. I think he's pushed just past the mud where he's going to have a decent stance right there.
Mm-hmm. And Nathan, I'll take a moment here to note that Gatekeeper Unplugged coverage will be coming this week, as always, without our wonderful voices. But in place of that, you'll hear the squish squish of mud.
You can hear exactly what it sounds like for the pros out there. And Austin ended up in the woods on the right, but past the initial OB line. So he's going to be in bounds, but having a scramble. Ricky Wysocki looking to hit the gap.
And green.
In bounds, but pretty question. It's
He
what
might
are you
have
gonna
something.
do from there? Yeah.
He might not. So very, very good placement from Heimburg here, able to throw the little Anheuser, and I think that's exactly what you're hoping for here. You don't want to be Heisering down the hill.
And places it perfectly. Closest we've seen by far.
Turner using all of the ceiling. You don't need to, or you don't really want to do that. Simon going to the forehand. This is going to have to stay on Anheuser and glide a lot.
Chops it, gets a few branch ticks, and is going to end up right around Circle 2's edge, maybe 55 to 60 feet.
Mm-hmm. Wysocki could take relief from this line, but he's going to try to exploit as much little open space as he can. Pretty well done. And go back and watch his tee shot, how much more complex the angles he's willing to put onto it than any we've seen so far on coverage yet.
Nice little jump shot approach there from Austin Turner. Going to be able to just tap in a par there. Simon Lizotte is 2 for 2 to start his round. What a putt.
From outside circle 2, good little nose up spin, and gets it to fall to the left just at the last moment.
So easy. There's OB behind that basket as well, which he was not concerned about. But what I meant by easy is that was soft enough. If he did miss, he was still going to be able to maintain in bounds.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be nice to just manifest the efficiency of that spin in my own putt.
And Calvin, different type of birdie there. Gets all the work done off of the first 2 shots. Moving into hole 3, 277-foot par 3. It's the wooded hole on the course. OB all the way around it. Very specific shot.
Couple different approaches here. Looks like Simon's going putter, maybe a mid, and a reset. Plays for an aggressive flex line to the right side and gets about half the distance. That should leave a fairly safe upshot into the green.
Yeah, once you let go of the disc on this hole, you really just want to land in the middle.
Calvin, a more conservative way of playing it. Still pretty effective. Just trying to play the left side on a turnover.
I think this is what the hole really lines up best for, is that lefty forehand. You can reach out a little bit farther than the righty backhand can.
Yeah, I agree. The natural extension opens up the angle more.
And there you go. He shows you the closest shot we've seen so far.
Mm-hmm. Wysocki. This Anheuser's kind of his natural shape anyway.
And I do like that he went with a bit of a faster disc there. because you do need it to come back a bit aggressively.
Wow. Lizotte does take a little poke at it, but not too far past for his comeback look. And
A bit off to the right. That's not a miss that we're used to seeing from Ricky.
nor is that. You wonder if that time off kind of detracts from his focus a little bit. Like maybe a Ricky who's in tournament mode more regularly just jams that first try.
Oh, absolutely. I believe he would. But with it being a wrist issue as well, you wonder if it feels a little different on his wrist snap, and he could be just not quite comfortable with that center point yet.
That's right. He told me that his forehands and his putting are the thing that makes the wrist flare up the most. Two things that Ricky is well known for executing so well. And Turner, just outside the bullseye. Easy pickings. So 2 birdies on the card.
Yeah, that's great. This hole did average over par.
Welcome to Music City Disc Golf. We are a 501c3 nonprofit public charity here in Nashville, Tennessee. We strive on including men, women, juniors, and providing competition for all skill levels. We would like you to come be a part of Music City Disc Golf.
Hole 4, our first of 2 par 5s. pretty wide open drive with out of bounds to the left and right. If you get to a landing zone about 450 feet away, it yields a righty backhand turnover shot that you want to hold over quite a long ways into a very safe field to the right. Elevated basket, perched on kind of a downslope. This is a pretty good scoring opportunity.
Yeah, and with a little bit different wind and less wind today, this tee shot, although there is OB left and right, is one of the more open and easier ones to execute.
Turner, as the lefty, is definitely going to want to keep this more towards that left side. And I think he's probably done enough to be able to throw another hyzer over top, right?
Yeah, definitely so. As long as you're not getting into where that little cutout's at, or any farther right than where you see the FPO tee pad right there.
Yeah. Lizotte kind of running to the left side. Does stay safe and opens up his angle very nicely. Wysocki, the gentle drift and pushing back. Everybody in great position.
Yeah, he makes that look so easy. 450 feet.
Yeah. Lizotte slams over on a pretty straight distance driver. Full glide out. And folks, look, that's a four-digit distance at 1,112 feet, and he probably has 150 or 200 in, not more than that.
Yeah, incredible distance, and excuse me, him being as far left as he was made it so easy. He didn't really have to throw that big flex shot that we've been seeing from other players. We're going to see Ricky go a little bit higher and have to put a lot more anhyzer here because he's farther right.
That's pretty well done, although it could flex back into the wood line.
It's going to be close. And
green is good. That counts for something. And Heimburg, yeah, getting hyzer release to drift.
Oh, yeah.
And if Simon went far, Vinny went far.
Yeah, incredible shot. Both of them are going to be in great position for a very easy upshot.
Turner, the first to throw his third. He's very competent both forehand and backhand.
Oh,
Flips
yeah.
the base on the way in. And shots like that are how Austin Turner was 5th at the Open at Austin and has made his way 2 rounds in a row to this Gatekeeper chase card. Great start to the season for him. Easy pickings for Lizotte.
Yeah, about as easy as you can make it right there. Calvin from even closer does let this float out on him a little bit, but now I'm just getting picky. He's still in there 16 feet away.
Yeah, nobody taught you childhood biology apparently because rhinos don't float.
All right, stall out on him a little bit. And a nice turkey there for Calvin, 3 under on the round.
And furthest away in the group at 15 feet or so.
Austin Turner, 2 down on the round now. Maintaining an entire... did he bogey 18 yesterday? I can't remember.
I don't think so. He made his comeback putt.
Clean round yesterday and diamond frame on 4 today. Moving into hole 5. 587-foot par 4. Want to get somewhere around this tree line where you're looking through one of those 2 gaps. So you can approach this basket that does have OB short and right of it. Long left as well, but a little more room over there. You'll see some people play to the flat out here, kind of where Calvin's heading, making sure you don't get pinched off by those trees if you don't land in the gap. He should be in a pretty good spot there for another forehand.
Turner testing the inside a little bit more.
Could have tested it a bit too much.
Yeah. This is a pretty severe shape. It's almost a horseshoe. And Simon going with a backhand. We haven't really seen this from any of the cards we've seen yet, I don't believe. But equally successful with that.
Yeah, if you're just going for that spot out there in the open and not trying to push towards the wood line, then whatever you're most comfortable putting there, why not?
In opposite wind, I think some players would be trying to go over the tree line. So maybe something to watch for in future years.
And Ricky has pushed a little bit too far. But using those long legs to stretch out a forehand, and he is just going to get past that OB. Going to be inside the circle looking for a birdie.
Yeah, very technical shot. I believe this is a Draco out of Heimburg. And pretty much flawless. Simon the backhand tee shot and now forehand approach. One good skip should put him at about 25 feet long. This is ambitious from Turner, huh?
Yeah, he's going through a shorter gap trying to go over top of the OB and does achieve that going over top, but pushes too long and now has a pretty scary comeback putt, which he is not even going to entertain. And going to end up with the bogey here.
Wysocki, the inside the circle struggles continue a little bit, and the same for Lizotte. Genuinely surprising.
Yeah, all of the struggles so far on this the second part of this hole is a bit surprising. 38% of the field carded the birdie today. Hopefully Calvin is going to be part of that 38%. I imagine he will be.
And don't look now, but he is tied for second place with that 4-down start. Definitely what he needed to put himself in the mix to contend for the win. Hole 6, our second par 5, 976 feet. Generally going to play uphill for the first half, downhill for the second. The idea is to get yourself to the left side of your first shot so that you can throw an Anheuser backhand or a forehand to another landing zone. The left and right sides of the entire hole are lined as out of bounds. So biting off manageable distances and not trying to go for too much is critical here. Generally a right to left wind, perhaps a touch of head.
And Calvin gets a nice shot off there. Going to be looking through the gap. Still pretty difficult to get aggressive for that second shot, but maybe he'll be far enough.
Yeah, this is by far the most accessible that this landing zone bubble to the left has been.
And a brutal skip there. As wet as the weather has been and as soft as the ground is, you don't really expect that.
Yeah, I think this property at one time had been a farm, and pretty loamy soils, tends to hold water quite a bit. Like skips were almost non-existent in some places. Turner has to throw over out of bounds the entire way. Watch out, gallery, but plenty of power to put it in an ideal spot. That'll set him up for probably the lefty backhand, just kind of playing plinko. Not plinko, but chipping away the rest of the way in.
So this could be really cool if he decides to go huge, but he is not trying to save the birdie.
Green flag for Lizotte. And Calvin with the Anheuser release. This will need to stable up as it's pushing to the right side out of bounds. And the red flag of doom.
Yeah, and probably going to take some of that relief off of the OB line there to be able to create an angle to reach the
I
basket.
think so. The squiggliness of this fairway shape definitely means you have to, like, you usually can't see your second landing zone from your tee shot. Like, Wysocki is completely blind to that. Going to go with the Anheuser backhand. Needs to push it to the right. And improves on what Heimburg had done.
Yeah, and Austin Turner was a little pinched off. Had to go with that high hyzer, which is difficult to get it to push back right with the right to left wind. So he ends up back behind all of that stuff on the left and has to pitch out again. Oh, and a bit of an unforced error there from Ricky. Just kind of pulls it into those branches on the left. Had quite a bit of room.
Turner's fourth. Going to play a little mid-range or putter skip shot in. And that's well done. He will walk away with a pretty easy par. Lizotte also staring down a pretty routine par now. Heimburg does take that relief and will go Firebird forehand. Basket blind to him, so he just needs to find a reference point that he can aim at. And weird roll away.
Yeah, backwards roll there. I wonder if he maybe caught a strange, or not strange, but one of these rocks in the ground or just something a little different to make him have that ground play. Right around circle's edge now. Par save.
Seems like we're going to be looking at a host of par saves here, all from pretty different positions throughout.
Yeah, and similar to the last hole, it did average, or it did have 38% of the field taking the birdie.
I just think the plastic is very premium. It's a high quality material. The way the disc feels in my hand.
I think it's the quality of plastic.
It's unlike any other plastic that you'll find in the industry.
The quality is better than any other company out there.
Again, just consistent plastic. It's something I can consistently trust on every single throw.
There's so many discs to choose from, and I guarantee if you tried every disc in the lineup, you're gonna wanna put multiple discs in your bag.
It's extremely high quality. You can only say so much, they have to eventually just try it themselves and see.
All right, through 6 holes, 2 par 5s, 3 par 4s. Feel like you've played close to a full round now, but you're on hole 7's tee pad. About to throw away downhill, 535 feet. A little bit less of a headwind today, more of a right to left. Maybe a better opportunity to see some more birdies.
Heimburg is going to catch that right to left and funnels down to inside the circle. Pretty favorable tree to stop him. Lizotte with the benefit of that read. Likely to also go big hyzer. I really like the way that he plays a little bit more of a flip up, kind of letting the wind help him, whereas I think Calvin was fighting the wind with stability a little more.
Yeah, I thought it was neat to see him kind of take off some distance on this 535-foot shot. And as Ricky was saying, a little bit too wide with too much height for it to push far enough. But still going to be in a good spot. If he wants to get aggressive, he could run that, but should be a par.
Yeah, I think he's landed in the spot where mediocre shots just collect in about circle 3. Turner, we saw him go with this yesterday and get to circle 2. Just kind of a flat to hyzer. And
he skips up on the rock.
Yeah, pretty good action there.
Yeah.
This is ambitious from Ricky, but a gentle bid. He'll be about 20 feet for his par.
And Calvin Heimburg is on a roll. 5 down through 7 holes, which have been playing as kind of the 7 hardest holes on the course.
Yeah, it really is remarkable how much more pleasant it was to play today. Maybe just feeling bright and sunny, not getting beaten down, makes a huge difference in the scoring. And with that, 3 birdies on the card.
Huge difference in the scoring. Wouldn't even have come close to that the last 2 rounds.
Hole 8, a relatively straightforward par 3, 315 feet, gently uphill. Not a whole lot of OB to speak of, although it is dense woods on both the left and right. Likely going to see backhand turnovers or force overs from our right-handed players. And
oh, man.
wow.
I thought that had a chance to go in without that little branch there.
The cedar branches are pretty low and pretty greedy.
Oh, and Simon pulled that one right immediately. A very fortunate kick, though. Kicks him back down into the fairway.
Mm-hmm. Generally, Lizotte pretty good at that turnover or force over shot, but he likes throwing high and floaty more than low and driven. Turner also getting bogged down early.
And this one's just a little bit wide to the left. Interesting to not see anybody really hit this line. I was frustrated with myself for not hitting this line for the weekend. It's one of those ones that I feel like I want to hit just a straight shot, but it is a pretty tight shape.
Yeah, this is the kind of hole that feels impossibly easy in practice. Like you could throw 8 of your discs inside the circle. And wow, Simon almost rings it up for his par save. Looks like he's going to take a bogey. That kind of stalls his progress here, Nathan.
Yeah, surprising stall on hole 8. Not one you would typically see the bogey on. Calvin, long chance for the birdie. And high right chains. Almost able to connect. He's still going to be in a good spot through this front 9 so far.
Mm-hmm. But the man leading the tournament to start, Chris Dickerson, not the first time he's led the Music City Open. I believe he has 4 titles to his name so far.
And 2, maybe 3 seconds alongside those 4 titles.
Yeah, don't mess with him in Tennessee, I don't think.
Moving into hole 9, 391-foot par 3. Gonna see some forehand flex shots up over top to the left of that tree we just passed. There's an OB down that right side that really kind of keeps you from going for that straight shot.
We know this disc is overstable, and Heimburg doesn't give it the width it needs. That's probably par territory.
Yeah, hard to give that one a really solid bid, maybe something floaty. But from that distance, those floaty ones are hard to get to go in.
Mm-hmm.
This lines up nicely for Austin. And this does look good. He got it wide around that tree. Oh, yeah. Gonna spike it inside 12 feet.
Turner has been throwing the disc just about as well as anyone. I believe he was top 3 in both Circle 1 and Circle 2 in regulation for this tournament. He struggled a little bit with his putting in round 2, as we saw, but tried to come into today thinking like, new day, new me. to instill that confidence on the green. Simon has not finished his snack as he's about to throw.
I did see one other player try this low skip shot. The angle's just kind of funny for it. You have to skip it so early. I think it's hard to get your disc to skip forward far enough without pushing that OB line on the right or long left.
Is the philosophy to try to skip near this big tree and get a big flare to the right, or earlier than that?
Probably near it, off to the left side. But it's hard to get the right angle on it, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Heimburg does give this a bid. And knocks in the par. So he will finish his front nine at 5 down. You see that he's tied for third at this point. Turner in for his birdie. And as you noted, clean sheet still. Oh, I'm sorry. He did take a bogey on hole 5.
Yeah, almost clean.
Almost clean.
But did make the smart play and make sure he didn't double bogey by laying up that par putt that he had. And Ricky Wysocki on a bit of a par train at the moment. He's going to be looking to add some more birdies on this back nine, along with our other players who are all still right up there. Austin Turner and Simon Lizotte tied for 5th. And you saw Calvin Heimburg up there tied for 3rd.
Mm-hmm. And Anthony Barella, the solo lead at this point. Little flip-flop late in the scores. So everyone on our card still looking to play for position, potentially play for the win. We want to make sure you join us on the Gatekeeper Media Chase card, back 9 of this final round of the Music City Open. For Nathan Queen, I'm Andrew Fish.
We'll see you guys out there.